you, but yeah, we'll touch on the men. But anyway, back to last night's game, and of course, Richard, we were messaging each other because I was stuck at work and I couldn't really view the game properly in between coming home. So you saw the first half. If you can just briefly talk us through it.
Yeah, well, what I thought I'd do is I'll give you the starting lineup. It was Zinsberger in goal. Then you had Weinroffer, Williamson, Raphael, Catley, Little, Walty, Medema, McCabe, Blacksteiner came in for Mead and Ford. And then you had the usual subs were Marquise, Williams, Wubbenhoy, Beattie, Maritz, Marnoom, Nobbs, Iwachaby, Mead and Hurtig. First 4-5 minutes, we got out of the blocks really quickly. We were on them and had a couple of chances. They grew into the game as the half went on, and sort of from about 5 minutes to about 25 minutes, they looked dangerous and had a cut tested Zinsberger, but you never felt like they were going to score. And then that last bit, we regained a bit of that early control, and we were just weather conditions, because it was storm weather out there. It was really pelting down, didn't help, and it, like, we were slowly starting to exert that sort of control we had in the Spurs game, and we were starting to find that rhythm again. And I think the half ended 0-0, but I think we were unlucky not to go in ahead. The Cope or Cops, the AJAX keeper, was the busier of the two in the first half, and without some decent saves, I think we would have been a couple up in that first half easy.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, as I say, I literally, when I got home, I watched towards the end of the first half, and the best I can say, and my terminology, soon as they came up, obviously they'd had the pep talk from Jonas. They seemed more on fire. They were there to do the business. That's it. Let's get this wrapped up. But I think one thing that I took away from, because prior to the first leg game, and I was a bit harsh on Arsenal women, but actually AJAX are a pretty good team. Well, they've got to be there in the first place. But
yeah,
they're a good team. Yeah, without doubt.
I mean, from what I took from the match was they were a better opposition than the Spurs team on the weekend. They provided a bit more threat going forward, but even so, we dealt with that reasonably comfortably. Especially in the first half, Williamson stood out for me, as did Little and Medema. I mean, those three were the three standout performers in the match.
Sorry to interrupt. What did you think of Raphael? I think you pronounce her name Raphael. What did you think of her prior to when she got injured? Because she was so good in the Tottenham game.
Yeah, she was solid. I mean, I thought the injury was. I didn't actually see what caused the injury, but when I because my internet dropped out and I had to reconnect to the live stream, but she was going off and she was holding the small of her back, so I'm assuming that she's fallen on. It could be just bruising, but
I've heard of her ankle, but
it might, yeah. But she seemed to be holding the small of her back. But I didn't see any replays of it either, so I couldn't tell. But she was she's solid. She's good in the air. She's good on with a ball at her feet, and her and Williamson look to be a really good partnership. To be honest, I mean,
yeah,
it's she also was good good on the attacking set pieces again. So definitely promising, and
okay.
it'll be interesting to see in the future.
Because nothing. I did a bit of research. She's our first female Brazilian player.
Yeah,
I tell a lie. We've got another one.
we have got another one in there.
Gio, I don't know how you pronounce it.
I don't know her name, but yeah, I saw.
Yeah, she's gone to Everton on loan. So interesting.
Yeah.
That second half, I thought, yeah, this is my girls. We're getting there. And then of course we suddenly had the head-to-head blow with Beth Mead. But yes, it's all on social media. She is fine. So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, that was
when I first saw that, I thought that's deliberate foul. She's headed the ball on. She's through on goal, and the defender's taken her out. And yeah, because her header had come way after Mead had headed the ball, so she had no reason to head the ball or make the attempt. But it is what it is. She wasn't seriously hurt, and she'll be available after the international break, so which is good. So I mean, which is always good because it's around. It was a part. It's this part of the face which is quite very easy to fracture. It's quite soft and
But although speaking to Martha off last night on the phone, he said it was actually when you saw her forehead that she had a big lump on her forehead as opposed to thankfully a cheekbone. But yeah, she seemed fine on the photo on the plane. So.
Yeah, because when the physios come round, they were checking sort of around here, so it looked like it was the cheekbone area that was a problem, but maybe it was higher up, and it was just. They were just checking the whole area just to make sure there was nothing wrong further down as well. So, but yeah, I mean, what probably disappointed me was you only had 10,000 fans in that. It looked like a Sunday League stadium. It's a Champions League qualifier. You've had a brilliant Euros. Why not put it in a bigger stadium?
Yeah. Well, we done.
Get more fans in.
Yeah, I mean that's it. We did it on the first leg, so
because I think that didn't help the atmosphere. I mean, from what I was watching, there seemed to be the Arsenal fans were great, but the Dutch, I didn't hear much from the Dutch fans.
You know
atmosphere
what?
Was
on that big time. Yeah, very. Well, actually, sorry, I'll tell a lie. Where did they play the first league? Was it in Meadow?
I think it was Meadow Lane. Yeah,
I'll take that back. It was at Meadow. But do you know what? At Meadow Park, our fans are amazing, aren't they? I know it's only a little wee place, but they're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, but you still get an atmosphere there. I mean, I could hear the Arsenal fans, but normally you get some sort of response from the opposing fans, but there was nothing.
Yeah,
which I thought was a little disappointing, especially.
With the Dutch, obviously with the men's football, it's been back in the day, Dutch footballers and football was it was just like a wow factor, and you'd like to think that would have carried on this modern day with the women, but we're not overly impressed. So next, but yeah, bottom line, good result. Yeah, the second half, weather conditions, as I say, poor Beth made it, but. Yeah, we did all right. We got the result. And then, funny enough, the good old 1-0, it serves its purpose. So, on to the next one. And you asked me who would be woman of the match. Now that's interesting because once again, with the which we'll come on to the North London derby, Captain Little, as always, absolutely amazing, isn't she? She really does hold the whole team together. But I am personally going to go for Viv because we also wanted Viv to. We got another year out of her. She's an amazing player and she's the one that scored the goal. So I'm going to give it to Viv. But I think equally they all played so well. They really played together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hard to choose. I mean, Mia Dima because she scored the goal, but
yeah.
I think with Little and Williamson, they did a lot of work sort of goes unnoticed. They put in a lot of hard yards. I mean, there was one instance where Williamson was run back into the right-hand channel to intercept the ball and kicked it off the AJAX player and we regained possession and stopped the promising attack. And she seemed to be in the right places. She's got passing ability. We talk about White and Saliba and Gabrielle's passing, and hers is class.
Yeah,
too.
oh, absolutely.
So I mean, yeah, and I like the she's she reminds me of a little bit of a Jack Russell, tenacious and just just ferrets away and doesn't let go.
Yeah, and that's good. Yeah, it's really good. And actually, another player that I particularly like, one of our newer girls, is Stina. How do I put this politely? She's got a bit of a funny run about her, bless her, but she is so enthusiastic. She's so there to try and get that goal, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think she grew into the game. I think the first 30 minutes she struggled, but as the game wore on, she actually grew into it.
Yeah, that was good. And we didn't see the new girl last night, did we, Lena?
No, I don't think we did. So, but I mean, there will be time, and I think had the game been a bit more comfortable, he might have been more. But he went with tried and trusted, which is you can't blame him. It's because what's at stake.
Yes, no, I get that entirely. So yeah, certainly for me, second half, good match to watch. Adverse conditions, good. And we got the result, so absolutely brilliant. Okay.
Shall we have a little quick into a tap? We've got Colin in the house. He's tapping on the watch because we're late. That was because we were having a chit chat. And then he goes, bamming on clock settings. Arteta would put you on training on an island with Mr. Wilson. Alex is in and Ashley's in as well. English Conversation Club. Good evening, First Lady and Richard. Good evening, and good evening to you all. Let's see where we got. Yeah, Arsenal ladies a real deal, like Ange. Really nice of you, Colin. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So, what's this one? English. Oh, that was about the North London derby, which we'll get onto later. Little was woman of the match for me. It was a close one. I don't think it could have been. And then John says, "Evening, Gooders. Good luck on your daily show." Thank you, John. And he's put his prediction in for the North London derby. So we'll get on to the next bit and catch up with chatting after that again.
Yes. Okay. Right, so we're going to actually go back to the first North London derby with our ladies, and of course, well, hopefully everybody was watching it, and what a victory. But what stood out for you, Richard, in that game?
I think the control of the match, Tottenham only had 4 shots and only one on target, 16% possession. We had nearly triple the number of passes, 16 shots. I can't remember how many on target. It was quite a few, and it looked to me like the men's performance at Brentford. It was that dominant, and we were discussing earlier on show. I cannot see how anyone can say that the women's game isn't on par with the men's. Technically, the improvements I've said in the last 4 years, you've seen they've come on leaps and bounds in the last 4 years, but compared to 10 years ago, it's nothing like it. They are brilliant, and they now need to be given their time, and people, the FA and government, and you need to look at how we can get them game time at the same time as the men's, because you'll fill the stadiums. They shouldn't be put to ridiculous times for people. I mean, it's hard for people to get to a game at 6:45 in an evening, especially midweek. The women's game needs its recognition.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's good that the BBC will put X amount of games on.
It's nice to see that actually it's not going to be Sky and that multi-million, and it's going to get to a wider audience. It's nice. Yeah, and I like that they're using women commentators, ex-women players, some with actual knowledge of the game.
Yeah. No, very much so. And it was interesting because I actually thought that match would have been harder than it was, because I remember, couldn't tell you exactly when, but once again, thanks to the BBC, watching, and it was at Barnet's ground when the Tottenham ladies used to play there. And that was a tough game. That was a really tough, I think it ended up in a draw. Yeah, I think, was it Viv got the equaliser? Right at the end, yeah, because that, to be honest, last season I wanted them to be the Invincibles. I so did, and it didn't happen. I was gutted. Blow the men, I was gutted. And all. But yeah, I actually think they've had a couple of new signings, haven't they, Tottenham? From what I heard.
Yeah, they had.
But I wasn't. Well, thankfully, yeah. No, Arsenal ladies really sorted them out. Yeah, they weren't the opposition I thought they were going to be.
No, and we've looked really comfortable. We look strong and comfortable against Brighton. We look strong and comfortable, and even though the scoreline didn't reflect that last night, it was still a strong and comfortable performance, away performance as well. That's you can't be. And as I said, I think if anyone watched it, it was torrential rain. I've got a mate. I play Warhammer 40k with in Amsterdam, and when I went over there a couple of years back before my illness, he took me and the wife around Amsterdam, and he texted me and he said, "Conditions out here are storm weather, mate." He said it's going to be horrible down there playing. He said it won't be nice, and we saw it on the pictures, which it couldn't have been nice playing out on that. I wouldn't have wanted to play out on it.
Well, it was interesting, as I say, because when I got, because I tried to view a bit of it on the first half of my phone and I couldn't see it properly. And then as soon as I got the iPad on, they suddenly sort of zoomed in on Viv, and you just saw that, and you just generally, well, yeah, it was awful conditions. So, yeah, in that respect, they played very well. Very well. Yeah, no, very good. On to the next one. Although, something I'm going to ask you, Richard. Let's be blunt here. We want Arsenal to progress in the Champions League, but realistically, how far they're going to go?
Well, it's tough, isn't it? You've got some. I mean, there are some decent teams there, but you'd want them to get out of a group of stages,
Yeah.
and then see what happens after that. It's knockout football over two legs. Anything can happen, but I think your primary goal will be the league. Well, it's because they weren't far away last season. It was just
1 point. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's their aim this season, and they've started with a bang, and long may it continue.
Yeah, really hope so. And of course, the other one, my beloved FA Cup, and our ladies have done so well with that in the past. Need to get that one. I actually went to the final with Chelsea. The most horrible weather day. That was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. I'm at Wembley with my girls, and it didn't happen.
No, it's like cup finals are literally one-off matches, a lottery sometimes. We've seen it in the men's game, and where you can hit you're pummeling the opponent, you hit the post, keeper's having an outstanding day. It's just not your day. But again, I mean, you look at the women's title, the amount of women's titles they've actually got. They're pretty outstanding, and it should be shouted. And to be honest, it would be nice if they put something around the Emirates to show that as well.
Yes,
because you've got all the men's titles. Why can't you have the women's achievements somewhere around there, or even in the museum?
Yeah, no.
Again, recognition for their achievements.
Yeah, something to be addressed. Yeah, very much so. Another thing I'm going to bring up, because before we go on to briefly talk about which is on the 16th, Reading, but of course our closest rival for the women is Chelsea, and also Man United, they seem to be getting better and better. They were pretty good last year. Come to them in a minute. All right, I know the start of last season, we actually beat Chelsea by 1 goal, and there was a lot of goals. I remember that. And I did hear a commentator say, "Oh well, Chelsea normally lose at the beginning of the season," but that last game, they didn't look, from what I didn't watch it. I didn't, or even on what do you call it, BBC app. But I wouldn't say they were overly dominant in that last game.
Yeah, I watched it. Unfortunately, my daughter's a disappointment. She's chosen to support Chelsea women. I told her she's a disappointment for supporting the Chav team. But yeah, no, she actually plays for a local Sunday team now. But yeah, she supports Chelsea. But yeah, no, I didn't think they were particularly dominant. Probably the rubber recruit green and were more clinical when the chances that they had, which is a a story of the Arsenal men's team normally, but it's something that they'll learn on, and to lose it by 1 point isn't. It will be heart wrenching and destroying for them, but it will also make them stronger to make sure that next time it's the other way round.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so far so good. Going back to WSL, yeah, they've just got to keep this form going. They're good enough. Hope, and once again, we hope there's no major injury. Actually, another player I want to bring on, Jordan Nobbs. I'd like to see more of her now she's back to full capacity.
Yeah, she's not even in the England squad, is she?
No.
For the October internationals, but maybe again, she needs to prove her fitness, and once she's done that, she'll get back in because she's a decent player. So, I mean, I want to bring this up from English Conversation Club because I think it's an excellent question.
Oh, here we go. Could it be time to have a female manager at Arsenal's men's team? Oh, do you know what? I've often thought about this. I personally really get and like Jonas. I think he's very quirky. The women really get him. And obviously, the main female manager at the moment is the Chelsea woman, who has been amazing for women's football in its own. And let's be blunt, you know what job she wants now. But she ain't going to get it yet because of Serena. That'll be her.
And there's another top manager.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Again, this comes down to opportunities, doesn't it? What are the FA doing to encourage women to become managers, not only in the women's game, but the men's game? What are the incentives?
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be protocols and make sure that because of the changing rooms, and but they do it in the women's with men managers, so it can be done in the men's game easily enough.
Oh, very easily, absolutely.
And there's no being a manager. There's no differences, is there? Because you're not going on this. Men are stronger than women because they've always been the hunters, which personally I think is crap. Because if you look at every other species of animal, lions and lionesses, it's the lionesses that go out. Some guy back in the Stone Age gone and painted the caves just for a power shift. It's not. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I've got a friend, and she's a lorry mechanic, and she pulls lorry engines out. She's stronger than me. She's stronger than a lot of men I know. So it's crap.
Yeah,
It goes down to individuals and who wants to be the best. And as I said, with management, there's none of that in anyway. It's just about what you know and your capabilities. And Wingman has shown she's a top manager, and I'd put her against I'd put her against any of the managers in the men's Premier League, and I think that she'd come out on top against many of them. She knows how to get the best out of the players. She knows how to get the and again with the Chelsea managers does the same. She knows how to get the best out of the team. Why not have a woman manager?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I think it really depends.
I would caveat that
there should be more females, definitely. But bottom line question, I'm really happy with Jonas at the moment. He's happy, the girls are happy, I'm happy. End of. He just seems to work for them. So Be interesting. One for the future.
We got Paul in saying, "Evening, Gooners. Evening, Paul."
Good evening.
John says, Arsenal women, Arsenal men, and Dar Square all top of the secret league, which is pretty cool.
For the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully, carry
on. I mean, players should have respect for referees anyway. Yeah, and this is another thing. Should the men's game have female referees? Would it make them more respectful to?
Well, certainly regarding the men's. Most
I mean, let's be honest, the men's referees are pretty crap anyway, aren't they?
Northerners all really biased. Yeah, so maybe the women would be less biased. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah, something to think about. Yeah.
John mentions Alex Scott's book looks very interesting. I haven't seen it, but I will have a look out now. He's pointed it out.
Right. Yes, there was something. I saw one of those tacky headlines, probably the Sun or something, and something about a secret whatever and the word lioness. And I thought, oh God, for God's sake, can you get over yourselves? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be very blunt here. We know there's, particularly in the women's game, there are X amount of gay, female, lesbian players, and they're lucky enough to be able to come out, and it's not an issue. For the men, it's totally different.
But why should it? Why should it be?
I actually feel that's where I feel so sorry. That there's probably X amount of male players in the Premier League who are absolutely terrified to come out. And it'll make no difference to you. It certainly won't make any difference to me. I just want them to play damn good football. End of.
Yeah. You could be a Martian as long as you're putting the performances in. I don't give a damn. You put a shirt on, you perform well, and you do your best.
Yeah, that's it. And be really, for as long as you're playing with that club, be really loyal. And as you say, and another thing I want to bring up, because obviously in the men's game, we're very diverse. And I'll put this very bluntly, it didn't used to be that way. But when you look at, certainly in the Premier League, it's basically virtually all white, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we've had this for years. No Asians, very little Asian. No Indians or Pakistanis. Where is the diversity?
Absolutely. I mean, I saw a thing on BBC, and it was you remember,
and how many black managers as well, and Asian.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, is it the Brighton and Hove lady? And she's mixed heritage lady, she's ex-player. Yeah, we got her. Actually, I'll be blunt. Now, in the England squad, and we used to have Nikita, Liverpudlian girl, but where's she gone? Man U now, is it? And she's, well, I don't know if she's in the current England squad. She was. And also, Reece James's sister, who plays for Chelsea's women, she's made the England squad now. But other than that, and going back to the Asian players, the wonderful film which I really love, Bend It Like Beckham, and I think, was it last year they did or maybe it was this year, I can't remember, where they did was it 20 years on or whatever it was, and they were interviewing on the BBC a lot of young. And actually, I'll be blunt, half Asian females, i.e. they were either like had an English mum or they weren't even like had to, Indian, Pakistani, whatever parents, but they were actually getting into having chances to get into football.
I think there needs to be more diversity and more accessibility.
Absolutely. Because certainly in the men's game, we're seeing a lot more diversity, and I mean actually we're pretty diverse at the Arsenal, aren't we?
We do try to be, and which is what I like about the club. it sort of reflects society in a way as well. It saddens me that race, religions, gender, or whatever is used to vilify players if they make a mistake or they miss a penalty in an important situation. They shouldn't be. Players make mistakes. They're human.
Yes,
and that's all. That's all what you should look at. It's not, is he black? Is he Muslim? Is he is he gay or straight or whatever?
Yeah, no.
It's just a human being on the pitch.
That's it. Yeah.
And the same with for women. I don't get the need to slander or demean somebody because of what they are. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's really hard, but until the government sorts it out, and I do a domestic, a bit on domestic violence, but all the laws are so archaic, and women are sort of just shoved into this little pigeonhole, and it shouldn't be like that. But until society changes, you can't expect sport to change. But that's, I mean, we're drifting a bit off. But I do hate the gender or any inequalities within the game.
Okay, well, we've certainly covered something there. Right, our next slot, we were briefly going to talk about the upcoming game with the ladies with Reading, and that's on the 16th, isn't it?
Yeah, that's after the international break.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get our players back uninjured and in fine fettle. I haven't seen much of Reading. I do know they're bottom of the table, and that's all I really know about Reading. So maybe you know a little bit more about them.
I'm going to be honest, I don't. Other than I did have a look. They're bottom of the table. I can't remember who they played. Played 2 games now, and they lost them both. So
I mean, we will get into a full review closer to the time, but
do our research.
Given our start, we should
hopefully
be quite comfortable with that game.
I mean, sorry, Reading ladies, I'd really like to see that as a bit of a goal fest. Yeah,
5-6.
That would be really nice. Get that all tally up, definitely. Okay, right. Have we got any more questions? Anybody else got any more questions before we go on to the final segment?
Well, we've got English. It's really good to see First Lady representing female contributors on the channel. It's good. Yeah, I mean, my other hobby, Warhammer 40k. There's not many female contributors on, and there should be more. They shouldn't be scared to voice their opinions. It's nice to see you come onto you've been on with Alex and that and stand your own ground in your own way.
I'll try.
And this one, Arsenal, like from Colin again, Arsenal like breaking ground, and it's not beyond belief, and there's some very good women who actually manage one. Mamadou Salou Sal. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but currently things are moving fine for us. But one thing we need to win against big teams. I think that goes for. I think was it Meg Ferguson, Man United, for back what didn't win any games against top 6 teams, but beat everyone below them and still won the league. So it does go to. I don't think it's necessary, but you would like with a current state of thing, I think you need to beat a City and Liverpool to stay in with a chance to win things. Oh yeah, English Conversation Club. Do you think the FA took the women winning the Euro serious?
Oh, that is a really good point, because obviously, and quite rightly, we've had so much coverage afterwards, which I totally embrace. Even now, because other than doing Twitter, I do Instagram, and there's still so much, going on about the lionesses, and an absolutely historic win, and I'm all for that. But yeah, has it been taken that seriously? Interesting. I don't. I don't know at this point. You want
Well,
to yes, but I'm not overly convinced. Yeah.
I mean, I know they made the noises straight after,
Yeah.
along with the government. There was a lot of talk, but I haven't actually seen anything put into action.
Mm.
I would love to actually ask the people in the game, people who are playing a game and know the game,
Mm.
to see whether they're convinced that actually they're being taken more seriously and given the what they deserve, which is
Yeah.
an equal billing um, and better chances and
Mm.
bits and pieces. It, it, I don't think they have. I think it's just been a
Yes.
tokenism at the moment, and I think that's a real shame, and it should be challenged.
Mm.
It's how you challenge it, and get that change, because again we're getting into politics, but which I don't want to do, but which who in the current crop of politicians would you trust to drive change in?
I think they've got enough other challenges going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually, and I remember talking to, chatting with John Gunner on Twitter. The next day's celebrations, they were really bad. I thought it was quite pathetic. I mean, fair play. The girls made the most of it, but I thought it was quite pathetic. They could have done so much more.
Yeah, I believe so. You've the first English team to win something since the World Cup, and
Yeah.
there has to be more. They've got to receive royal OBEs, whatever.
Okay.
Well, come on. England teams, rugby teams get it. All sorts who achieve something get it, and they've achieved something that an English team hasn't achieved since '66. They've won a major final.
Yeah. No, actually, you are right. Yeah, consider the others.
Give them recognition. Give them the plaudits they deserve.
Well, they couldn't even get an open top bus, but there you go.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I don't see why. Well, there are obvious reasons why, but then you're going down a different route, and it's something that maybe needs to be tackled. I mean, I've talked to Alex about things I'm not going to talk to about on here, but just things really, certain things really annoy me sometimes. But so, I mean, that's all the comments and bits at the moment.
Right.
One I missed from Ashley, just so I'll show it up on there earlier on. Hey up, Gooners, welcome to Cannon Pod. This has been hijacked by a couple of very dodgy looking characters. Well, at least one dodgy looking character. I haven't had a shave for a couple of days.
Right.
You can sort him out next time you're a moderator. Slap his wrist.
Right, okay. Final segment to our show. We will now talk about the men and the second North London derby that is looming. Oh, do you actually enjoy them, Richard? I don't.
I do afterwards.
Yeah, well, yeah, depending on keep going.
What I do with every match. What I do is I record it on Sky and I watch it a second time. You can then take the passion, the result. You don't have all that angst, and you can look at it and analyze it in cold light of day. I will analyze a game in cold light of day and see if the performance was as bad as the result suggests, or whether there was a decent performance, but just not that thing. I mean, I said it with Paul the other. It's for any Arsenal fan, it's a must-win. It's the only must-win game, and you're going to hurt, and you're going to hurt a long time after if you don't win it. But for me, on Saturday, I just want to see the team go out and give 100%, die on that pitch.
And plus,
if they've done that, and the result doesn't go the way, yes, it's going to hurt and it would be a disappointment. But I'm not going to blame the manager. I'm not going to blame the players because they've given it all. They just fell short on the day.
That's all you can ever ask.
Yeah.
So what was I? Sorry, just to interrupt you there. I'm not even going to go there with predictions, but something that we've all kind of been trolling, whatever social media. Who is actually going to be available? Right. At the moment, we know we definitely got Jesus because he didn't go away. We've got Jesus.
I believe Tierney's available because it was precautionary. Zinchenko's a possibility. Yeah. Odegaard played. He's played and he's fine. Partey, I haven't seen anything, but it was just precautionary, and it was a knee. It wasn't a hamstring. Yeah. He felt something in the knee. So as long as all the things come back, we should find out tomorrow. I think Arteta's press conference is tomorrow. He didn't train Tuesday, but I believe he was training yesterday. I haven't seen pictures, but somebody I know who sort of takes pictures at Colney for paper said he was training. So I'm hoping that means he'll be fit for because he is probably the most important player for us. Yeah. Because without him, I don't think Lokonga can do that midfield job against Tottenham.
No.
I think we need Partey. I mean, Emil Smith Rowe, we know, has just gone in for a tendon on the groin. He's had it for quite a while, growing pains, they said, but they're going to operate and sort that issue out, and hopefully he'll come back fitter. He won't have that problem again, and he'll kick on. I mean, speedy recovery and keep your head up, son.
Well, that's interesting because I read the thing and it was official Arsenal. I think it was on Twitter about the growing pains. And I thought, I think this is a bit more than great. He's had this injury for a long time. We've seen that dip in his form. And you have all those fake fans questioning you. And I thought, I've said that for a long time. The poor young man is injured. He's probably played on injury. Sorry, Arsenal. We all know that. And yeah, let's sort this out for him, his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what I just don't know why they didn't make that decision sooner.
Yeah.
It's you've known it's been illegal. Have a look at it, and then do something about it quicker.
Yes.
But I mean, he's now out to December at least, and that's given that he recovers at the way he should do. But yeah, I mean, fingers crossed and good luck and best wishes to him. But yeah, I mean, we need to have a serious look at how the medical side of our stuff's doing, because it is it Arteta not listening to? I know with certain players in certain positions, like Partey, you don't really have another ready-made replacement. So and that was the case for a lot of last season. This season, you can rest Tierney because you've got Zinchenko and you've got Tomiyasu who can play in there. So we have got that ability to. And this season, I want to see him manage those players better, so that we're not getting as many injuries, and then we can start looking at if people are still getting injured, well, and they're not playing as many games. What is the training like? What are the physios doing? What is the medical setup doing? And we can look at maybe we need to improve in those areas as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although I do, going back to Partey, and I mean, Alex has said this in the past, and on one of when Alex just puts one little snippets up, and I think there was a vote on it. But I would personally, because my biggest argument is Zinchenko is going to be his replacement. That's what he's coming for the long term. But he's kind of he made those noises like Jesus did about being the number 9, and then all of a sudden he went very quiet because obviously he knew he'd have to cover, a little back end. But that's where he's going to be. So I think at the given point when we got enough cover, at the back to get Zinchenko in the middle, then you get rid of Partey. Sorry, I think it's. I don't know. Maybe he's just been really unlucky. I don't know. But
well, I mean, I've talked to somebody, a friend's wife, who's a Danish. She's Danish and she's a physio, and she said that once you tear the hamstring, it scars up. So it weakens the muscle, so you're more likely to get a reoccurrence of it because there's scar tissue there. But I mean, but then you change. Surely there's a way of changing training regimes and managing a player better, and that if the physios aren't, and who makes that final decision? Do the medics say to Arteta, no, he's not playing, or if you play him, it's a risk, but it's your choice, and then it's Arteta? Do we know about that? I think Colin's got one here. No, sorry, this one. I have a different take on the ESR. It started a full season ago. Yeah, I agree, Colin. It started. I think he's had this problem for 2-3 years, but last season, especially towards the end of it, where he missed that end part of the season, especially, and this should have been sorted a lot sooner. But yeah, I agree with you that it's been a longer. Yeah, John says you should English women should have had an open top parade around London.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I think.
Oh,
Yeah, again about ESR, does that hopefully will help him get back to his better condition and form, obviously being affected by it as well. Yeah, I think we've heard about other players. Was it Tierney? When there's a long-term rehabilitation, it's the mental side. And again, what do the club do? What support do they have for players when you have to you're out with it's a cruciate ligament, which is one of the longest? What do you do when the player to help rehabilitate and get them through that mentally? What support do you put out there as well? And I don't. English Conversation Club. Saka is a lot more robust, but we do need to look after these younger players. Yes. And this is a question I put to Paul. We've just had Ethan Nwaneri, and I think it's great. 15 and a bit, and nearly 6 months getting on the pitch. And only had a few minutes, but when is too young? When do we start saying when does somebody step in and protect? Will it go to 10, 11, 12? When do you stop it?
Yeah, no, I agree entirely. Yeah, it was great for the lad. I really like to think it was done for the best reasons. I mean, well, give everybody.
I said the same. I don't think Arteta's a sentimental, and he does things for records. Or I think he thought, what have I got on the bench? He's done well in training. He's impressed me. Let's give him a few minutes to waste a bit of time and see give him a vision of that he's got a future at this club.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And I'll tell you what I did watch today, because I deliberately waited till it was on the telly, but the final one of the Hale End, and they had Charlie Patino. And yeah, I mean, look, he got his chance, didn't he? I can't remember which game it was, but where he scored the goal, wasn't it? He come on.
Yeah, was it Norwich or Sunderland, wasn't it? It was in the League Cup, but yeah. And he's gone off to Blackpool. Blackpool fans have got a song for him in the first game or so, and he seems to be doing well there. So is Balogun away. So a lot of our young players are doing well. And there was, I don't know if you've seen it, Arsenal put out one with Per Mertesacker and Jack Wilshere talking about the progression.
I'll definitely do it over the weekend. Yeah, I want to.
And he says he's immensely proud of that moment when he got Mertesacker got on the pitch, and that it shows the other youngsters that there is real pathways into the first team, and Jack was saying he was inspired by Fabregas, who was only 5 years older, and he said it made me want to work to be at that level by the time I got to that age. So if he can do that for the next batch, it gives us a lot of hope for the future.
Absolutely, yeah. Very good. So anyway, I suppose we better start wrapping this up, as we've been on for about an hour now. But I make predictions, especially with the men's, but it's a North London. What are you going to go for?
Well, for me, it's going 3-1 or 3-2. I'll probably go with a 3-1. I mean, it's a tough one because you know Kane likes to go against us. You know Son likes to go against us, but I'm hoping we're a little bit more defensively solid, especially if we've got Party in the middle.
Yeah.
And I see us getting goals. They're not defensively the strongest. Leicester could have had more goals, and I think, given that they don't do well at our place historically, I think we should be, and we've got. Even though I don't particularly like Anthony Taylor, he's not the worst referee for us. It's just so he's worse for them than he is for us. It's now down to what squad's available, and we'll go from there. But I don't think I think Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka provide as much goal threat as Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. And that's where, it's what will Conte do, because if he plays the same system that he's played, and we have Zinchenko playing, we will dominate that midfield. He will only have Bentancur and Højbjerg as those central two, and they will be swamped, and that will be where they lose the game. And but we will see. It's come on the Gunners. I mean, you've got to also remember the under-18s will beat the Tottenham boys 4-1 as well. So let's make it a treble.
Point. Yeah. No, come on, lads, got to do it.
Yeah. Even if the women have shown you. Yeah. You've now got to go and do exactly the same.
Got to deliver. Yeah. 1-0 will do me. Yeah, as long as you went right. Is that another question coming up?
Retired dinosaur. So, he was. Do you think the training causing the injuries we've had so for many years? It's got to be. It's a question that's got to be asked. What is? I mean, sometimes I don't think the on anyone could be. It's just purely unfortunate.
Yeah.
But you've got all this tracking data and everything that they use now. Surely, you know when the player is close to the limit. Then you ease off, and you don't let them train, or you adapt their training system. It's got to be easy enough done, and then you don't play them for 60 minutes. You bring them on as a sub. Or it's a strange one for me. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't remember too many serious injuries last year for women. Is it I don't know if the medical team's different, or do they use the same medical team?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
I'm not. I've not looked into that. May be interesting to have a look into. Do you think Qatar will host a World Cup? I wouldn't want them to. I mean, their human rights alone, they shouldn't be hosting the men's. And they're a male-dominated society. So I don't think you can allow a regime like that to host it. It wouldn't do anything for the game. If you're going to give it to you put it in a country that's going to celebrate
celebrate women's football with
women's football and make it a spectacle.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it in Brazil or somewhere like that.
Yeah, that would be the best place. Yeah, that really would. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
give it because the Brazilians know how to make a show. Maybe even that one of the African countries as well. I mean, South Africa or somewhere like that. To, and because they did a decent cut with a men's World Cup and put it on the fantastic show.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of possible. But yeah, not that place. I'm with Eric Cantona on that one. I don't want to know next.
We got one from Colin. I know Colin doesn't rate Arteta. Allow Arteta to overthink a big game. Conte 3, Arteta 2. Arteta's had the better of that. And the reverse fixture last season was the Conte's first win over Arteta. But we know what's going to. The pattern of the game is we're going to have most of the ball, and they will try and hit us on the counter, like United did. Against United, we were defensively poor, and I think that was because you had the Congo in the position that he's still learning, and we weren't efficient going forward. We had chances, we didn't take them, and United took for 3 chances that they had, and we know Tottenham have got players to hurt us, and that they will try to do the same. But I think we can. I think if we're on, what I would say is we need to be 7s and 8s across the board. We can't be below a 7 or 8 in performance across the board. Everyone has to have a good game. We've got one from Alex. Richard, I think it's just the lack of squad quality and depth, having to play these players without respite. I agree. I don't think until this season we had quality cover for Tomiyasu or Tierney, and we still definitely haven't got for Partey. So it's, and we definitely need a cover for Xhaka and probably another wide forward that can play across the 3 things. What you've seen Arteta do is bring in players that can play 3 or 4 positions recently, and so he's got, and they're good in 3 or 4 positions. They're not just a jack of all trades, master of none. They're pretty good in all 3. But I mean, I do agree. We're still probably 3 or 4 players short of what we need, but hopefully, maybe we'll go and get one in January. We'll see. That's down to Edu to get that over the line. And if he doesn't, then we can start questioning him and again, because we know come December after the World Cup, we're going to need reinforcements. John says, great show, Gooners. And last comment, would you put Ben White at CDM if Partey is injured? Well, you could do. I mean, he has played there for Leeds and he played there for Brighton. So he can play the position and he can play it well. However, I would possibly play Zinchenko there. The reason why is he's got a better spatial awareness, and he's similar to Partey in that he will drive the game forward. But I don't dislike the idea of having Ben White at CDM. To be honest, it it would bring Tommy Asu into that right side, and he would keep he kept Son quiet when he in his first game against him. So that would be an ideal scenario, either White or Zinchenko in there for me. I don't know what you think, Ange.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that about Ben White. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Well, doesn't Zinchenko play that role for the Ukraine?
Well, I think he has played it. I think he prefers the like the Xhaka left-sided 8, but
okay.
he can play it. He has played the left-sided 6, so
Okay.
he could fit in there too.
Yeah.
And as I said, he's got that ability to go through. And this one's for you, Ange, from Final Question.
Final question for the First Lady. Are we going to see more of your hosting on channel? Oh, do you want me to come back? Yeah, I'll do it again if Mr. Lovely Richard will allow me.
I'm just the supporting act then. So.
Well, I think you've been more than that,
but yes, of course, I'll come on with you, and we'll hopefully do things. I mean, I'd love to do get some interviews and bits with some of the ladies or part of a women's team at some point. If I mean, when we were talking about the women's against Man United on the 20th of November, I'm hoping if I get the day off as a Christmas present, me and the daughter are going. The stepson is a Man United fan. He's going, and I've asked my Man United mate if he wants to take his daughter to it as well, if we can get tickets. So we'll be going to the Emirates to watch that if everything full. So
yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. And also, sorry, just when Alex, we were first talking about this, as well as having yourself, because I think it's really good, as I say, to have the male perspective, particularly talking about women's football, because there's X amount of women, but we need the men to support the women, bottom line. We truly do. But I think it would be very nice. And we're really trying to work on this one. So maybe like on the Easy Talk on a Friday night, where it could be myself, yourself, and at least maybe one or two other women.
Yeah, there's plenty of women.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Sophie from the Highbury squad. There's Gracie May, who's an Arsenal supporter. She has a YouTube channel, and there's loads out there. And I think there should be a thing. And going back to the women's versus Tottenham, what I noticed in the ground was there wasn't any segregation, and there was no trouble. Spurs and Arsenal fans were sitting together, and that's nice to see. It would be nice to see that across the whole sport.
Yeah, no.
And I think that needs to be lauded. But actually, the women's game is a more family-friendly atmosphere, because I'd been to about 6-7 years ago. I was on my way back from the Emirates Cup, and I had my daughter, my niece, and my 2-year-old boy, and I was at Havant train station, and some guys from Southampton who were Spurs fans come across the thing, and he was pissed out of his head. He wanted to punch up, and I said to him, "Look, mate, I've got you've got 6 mates with you. I've got my kids here." I said, "I'm not entertaining you." I said, "I'll talk to you," and that I said, "But let's be serious." I said, if I was on my own, I'd rumble with you because that's the sort of person I am. And because you pissed me off, I said, but I'm not doing it because I've got my kids here and I'm not putting them in danger.
Yeah, of course.
I said, you want to talk and you want to be respectful. I'll talk and be respectful to you. And that's me coming up home from a friendly and it's ridiculous. You've got to put those sort of things have to exist.
Yeah, no, I get that entirely.
And that's one of the reasons I like the women's game. You don't get that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Although it was interesting, I say, when we did Wembley, and the way that Steve could get the tickets, we were kind of. I really wanted to be down the Arsenal end, and because you had, obviously Arsenal, Chelsea, and we were sort of stuck in the middle, and it was good, I suppose, because you had a few Arsenal, a few Chelsea, but I wasn't. If I'd have been down the Arsenal end, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely fabulous. It was all very nice, well behaved. But I thought, yeah, I just wanted to be down the Arsenal end.
Yeah, it would be nice. But I mean, I went to the Ed Sheeran concert and we were up in the gods, and I would never do that again if I ever go to watch a football match lower level.
Doing a Champions League game at the Emirates, and you were so far up, and it was like, I mean, actually, that was a good thing because I really don't get much opportunity to go to matches. I had a few opportunities, and it just didn't happen. So I'm hoping might be able to get to a women's game in January. I've been told, so I'll be. I could be.
That would be nice, yeah. And I like the pricing of the women's tickets.
Yeah,
I mean that is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, you can go to 7, 8 women's games for the price of a men's ticket.
Yeah. Oh, and that's
you've got to look at that. You've got to look at why the men's are being priced that high. It's not. That's not right.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous.
You're restricting families from going to men's games.
Yeah.
And even though I want to big up the women's games, you're not doing. You're either disrespecting the women by pricing their tickets so low, or you're just taking the piss out of the fans in the men's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex says,
what's that?
Yeah, he'll have to work on getting you and some female contributors on the Easy Talk, which would be a great idea.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
And Tide says, yeah, Alex, will you be hiding behind the sofa while watching Arsenal versus Spuds? He says, I'll be going live outside the Emirates, then running around behind the sofa. I think your brother should be doing the watch along because that'll make me 10 times more nervous. Alex, I love Ralph's watch alongs because it is so fun.
Well, actually, it was a bit bizarre because I can't get, unless I go to a pub, and they're on the right time to watch them. I'm relying on the Arsenal app, which I think's pretty good. But it was quite funny because I've got the phone, I've got the iPad doing the Arsenal app and listening to their commentary. And then, of course, I'm listening on the phone, and it was like, okay, and that's why, especially when I'm doing that, because I just put goal, and I was doing last night. It's just quickly do it, concentrate again.
And one last one before we go. I think it's Ralph will be doing a watch along. Oh, good. I'll make sure I tune into that then. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone who's commented tonight and tuned into the first show. It's been a pleasure, Ange. And
thank you.
I know it was a bit of a tight squeeze for you, but because of your commitments, but it's been a pleasure.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really have, and thank you for your expertise.
Well, it's not expertise, but thank you. That's very kind.
I know. But all I know is I know a good game when I see one. Let's hope we get one Sunday. And and just something.
What I'll do, So what I'll do is I'll talk to you and Alex later in a week, and we'll sort something out for next week and give these 5 folk another delightful piece, and maybe we can get what was there's another lady that
We've got. Well, actually, I've contacted a lady. She goes across all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and she's actually away at the moment. But she's very keen. So
we'll get her on soon.
Yeah, hopefully, because she said she'll be back by the beginning of October. But no, she really seemed keen. So I thought, okay, brilliant. So yeah, hopefully, all good.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.